This is the Hunt Trap and Horns podcast. Welcome to the Hunt Trap and Horns podcast. My name is Justin Stanley, and this is our first pilot episode. I'm here teamed up with Tanner Way on Instagram, Northwest River Drifter. And yeah, you want to introduce yourself, Tanner?
Yeah, like you said, my name's Tanner Way. Born and raised here, actually not too far from where, same as you. Just happy to be here, experience more outdoors, do some hunting, fishing, and hoping to share some info and experiences.
Yeah, Tanner and I got to know each other earlier this year and mentioned his interest in media and podcasting and hunting and fishing as well. And as we got to know each other more, decided to go ahead and start this thing. And we're excited to bring new video and podcasting content. And yeah, it's going to be a fun year and can't wait to see where it goes.
Oh, for sure. I'm excited. Yeah. We're already kind of counting the days to turkey season. So
yeah,
it's going to be a good one.
Yeah. So this is our pilot episode. We're going to be talking about our 2023 outlook and what our plans are and what our goals are. And so, yeah, just go ahead and get into it. And first on the list is shed hunting. You have any plans this year?
Biggest goal is just going to be to get out, cover land, cover as much land as possible. Definitely hike our property a little bit more. Me and my wife just bought a place, just 30 acres, not big, but in deer country. You know, we got traffic. So see if we can find anything here around here first, and then basically go from there, expand out in the hills. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see this year with how much snow we've gotten and see if it's different or not, and how much lower the sheds are, more concentrated. And yeah, got one trip planned, hopefully down into more elk country down south in April, hopefully.
Nice.
If that comes through or not, and was hoping to maybe make a trip over to Idaho as well, but not sure if I'll be able to make that one happen. But definitely gonna try and get a elk trip in for 3 or 4 days.
Nice. Yeah. Well, and they're dropping so early too, like your shed season. Depending on where you live and how much snow you got, you could get in now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's deer dropping early.
Yeah, already picked one up December 19th freshie, which was crazy. Earliest I've ever picked one up, yeah. Before that was end of January was the earliest I ever picked up a freshie. But yeah, definitely going to put in some hikes around here in this area and hopefully get some nice bucks.
Oh, yeah. One other spot, I got some that whitetail area I like to go up and hunt a lot in. Want to get up there. And especially with this much snow, it's keeping people out of it. Mm-hmm. And drive by it all the time. Haven't seen any sled tracks in there either. Yeah. So I'm hoping to get up there because there are some toad whitetails in there.
You think the deer will still be up in that area with how much snow we've gotten this year?
Yeah, because when I'm driving it, because they're not, I mean, it's the elevation where we hunt, actually put stands and hunt at is, I mean, you're probably a few hundred feet of gain from like the main road. And I'm driving that main road and I'm seeing deer all along it. Mm. So I'm in there crossing, so I'm looking, trying not to hit them. And so I'm like, if they're there, I know they're going to be up there. Yeah. Especially now with the rain we're getting and stuff like that. You know, packing that snow down or just melting it off already. I mean, when we were out ice fishing today, we heard running water coming down the hill. Yeah. And at first I was like, what is that? And then we were like, and this is just runoff. You know, there's no natural creek there. Yeah. And so already... And so I think those deer are going to be, if they're not in there, they're going to be up there sooner. But my big thing is it's keeping other people out. Yeah. until I have a shot to get in there. Yeah. But like I said, I'm seeing more deer around the road, so I'm assuming they're going to be pushing through there. You know, as long as they can get to some feed in there, I think they're going to be in there for sure. At least some. I mean, I think the majority of them are going to get pushed down a little bit closer to the nearest town, lower elevation. But there's still some in there. If I'm seeing them on the road, there have to be. So, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I'm going with. I'm going to give it a shot. We'll see if it works. But
yeah, I'm excited. Last year was one of my better years. I've had shed hunting picked up. I can't remember how many it was, but it was definitely the most I picked up, I think, ever. But I was also in Idaho for a good chunk of the spring, picking up a lot of whitetail sheds. And, yeah, I came back here over some breaks. So I was still finishing up college and was able to get into some good pockets here as well, which was fun. So hoping I can do that again this year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see what we can find. I want to find some I'd like to find some big sheds this year. I've been watching some bucks, so
Oh yeah.
yeah, it'd be cool.
Oh yeah.
I've also heard just from social media and Instagram and stuff, seeing people are picking up a lot of deadheads already that are out there. It looks like there's pretty decent winter kill, which sucks. So
For sure.
yeah.
So the other thing I like about one of the things I like most about shed hunting is pretty much anybody, I mean, anyone can do it, right? Including like my kids. So I can load up the car with me and my wife and load up with the kids and go up there and just, hey, we're going for a hike. Well, yeah, they might be hiking around, but my eyes are glassed and looking for sheds. And so just to be able to get everybody out, it's a great way if you got little ones to get out into the woods where most of us want to be instead of being cooped up inside or working. So it's great to get out there, get the little ones running around, and kind of look for horns and find stuff and get everyone involved. And usually, especially with kids, if you have, get some good luck and you know even a little bit of what you're doing, which I'm more on the luck side, you find them, your kids get stoked. They get jacked up. Oh my gosh, looking for this. And they just start buying into it. And so like, hey, can we go again? All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what I got planned for shed season. And yeah, so move on to putting in for tags. And you got any plans for any out of state or any in state special tags?
Well, as you know, me and my wife, married to an amazing woman, and we have a couple kids already, and we have we're expecting one more. So I've been ghost pointing. We have obviously gonna have a newborn this year. I have a 3-year-old, and then my daughter's 8, and so we're gonna have. The last couple years I've been ghost pointing, and so it looks like realistically I'm going to do that again. So because knowing my luck always isn't the best, or it seems that way. Like I would probably hit like 3 different special tags this year.
Yeah, not have the time.
Not have the time to do it scouting at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, our newborn's going to be due here in May, so it's like I'm not going to have any time to scout this summer.
Yeah, for sure.
Heavy. So, or as much scouting as I'd want to do to get, if you have lucky enough to get, a quality tag. So, I want to be ghost pointing for the most part. Putting in for your typical tags, I guess most people do for deer and elk, the quality, antlerless second, that stuff. What else? Probably won't do multi-season again, just because I'm not going to have the time if I do hit something. And we'll get into our plans kind of later for 2023, what we actually want to do for general season stuff. But on top of that, I do get to put in for disability tags, so that's one thing I'll put in for too, for deer and elk, disabled hunter for Washington. So I'll be putting in for those two. But for the most part, it's going to be, I'll be ghost pointing them across the board. Then hopefully next year, it's always next year it seems like.
Yeah.
But next year, really put in for the multi, going for that. So if I draw a multi, then I'm dropping all of them.
Yeah.
And see what's going to hit. And I should get,
something.
Obviously it's a it's always
Yeah.
kind of the gamble. But there's a couple in there that I should hit.
That'll be cool.
So because I'm going to be definitely over the average. But I mean, you never know. But where the areas I'm going to, what I'm putting in for, I should hit at least 1 or 2 for sure.
Cool.
So
yeah,
and I should have the time.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I always feel like I've been like that too. It's always next year I'll do that. Next year I'll do that. It's hard, and life still is just as busy. So just trying to make time for it, like I'm gonna try to do this year. Yeah, I plan on putting in for Montana for deer and elk, their combo tag. That's due April 1, I believe, and so I should hear back from that by the middle to end of April, and that'd be sweet if I get drawn for that. Never hunted Montana before. I usually hunt Idaho, and I don't know if you know or not, but their tags they're over-the-counter tags for non-residents. They have a quota in each unit, and when you're a non-resident, you have to choose a specific unit to hunt over there. So I tried getting that. Their day for that is December 1 of last year. And by the time I got on there, I was on my late hunt during that day, and so I didn't have very good service, and I don't even know, I was way down in the line, like 40,000th or something. It was crazy. So I didn't have too much hope for that, and didn't get a tag for the unit I wanted. I still could have got a tag, but it would have been for a unit I don't know much about. And with hopefully putting in for Montana, I want to, if I do that, spend time over there in a new unit. If I do spend the money to get a tag. Then they actually this last week just put out 1,500 more tags, and I tried getting in on that too. And I was at 400th in line this time, but it's still that unit I wanted was sold out by the time I got to it. So, just gonna put all my cards for Montana, and yeah, hopefully get drawn. My dad's gonna put in for it also, which would be fun. So hopefully both of us could get drawn. It'd be a cool trip over there.
Oh,
We haven't gone on a family one since Colorado in 2019. Yeah, and then I'll put in for all the tags here in Washington, all the once in a lifetimes and everything like that. I was ghost pointing also the last couple of years for the once in a lifetimes, just because I was in school and I didn't want to get drawn for a once in a lifetime goat tag or sheep tag and have stuff going on at school where I couldn't leave or anything like that. So, but now I'll definitely be putting in for pretty much everything I can. Yep, and hope something good hits. That buck tag I had this year was pretty fun, so I'll probably put in for that again too.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your if you had one that you could, other than your once in a lifetimes, because you want all those to hit.
Yeah.
Is there one you have in mind that you really want for 2023?
I think I would.
I'd say in state or out of state.
I mean, definitely would love to go hunt rifle mule deer in Montana. That's pretty cool. It's something you don't get much of a chance to do here in Washington unless you get one of those tags, which are pretty competitive to get the rifle tags. So, yeah, I would really like to get some of there's one archery quality tag here in Washington that I want to get really bad. I had it once.
I may know what that one is.
Yeah, I had it once. I mean, I think I was 16, I believe. It was my first year driving, I think, when I got that one. I think I seen 84 bucks in 4 days down there.
Is it mostly, are you looking for that one? Or is there, there's so much private in there. And there's a lot of public too.
Yeah, but I mean, I never had to. I almost hunted exclusively like 2 or 3 mountains that were pretty close to each other. I didn't.
Public too.
Yeah.
Nice.
All public. I mean, that unit is big, and so I only spent in a portion of it, and I saw that many deer. I talked to some other people that were spending time in other areas, seeing bigger bucks than what I was. But at that time, the knowledge I had, I just spent it in what I knew. I wasn't really exploring too much. But now I would definitely get out and explore more area, because I know there's some big bucks that come in through there, especially this year with the snow. I was seeing pictures from people that they were seeing some giants, and it would have been amazing to have that late tag. So I got a few points for it now. I don't know what the average was. I probably got 6 or 7 now for it. So getting close to what I had when I drew it in the first place. Because if I was only 16, I think I started hunting when I was 10, and I was putting in for points. So yeah, I was probably at 6 when I drew it. Yeah.
No, so I got a ways to go on that one. I got I think 3.
Oh, okay.
So I got a little ways.
Yeah.
But no, that's a really good one, for sure.
Yeah.
And again, there's not a ton, over in Eastern Washington when you're looking, there's not a ton of archery special permit tags. I mean, there's just not much.
No.
Especially, that's what kind of blows me away too. Especially when you're looking at like whitetail, where there's definitely units around where they specifically want whitetail thinned out for the migratory mule deer. I'm like, hey, you throw in some archery tags. Yeah. There's a lot of us over here that are complaining about it and would love to draw a couple and go shoot a doe. I want to fill my freezer.
Yeah.
And whitetail, no problem. I will happily shoot one.
Yeah.
So that would be nice. But
yeah, that one that I drew this year was like the second closest I could get, and it was a good hour and a half away to get to the spot, and everything else is kind of down south, or I think a lot of them are kind of down south in the basin area.
Right, so there's not enough more north, central northeastern, Washington. I think
say. Down in Yakima area, there's the desert tags, which look really cool.
Oh yeah.
But it would definitely take some time to go scout and get to know people, because there are highly concentrated private land areas I looked at doing it or putting in for them, but yeah, I probably will one of these years. Yeah, so that.
So I'm excited. I'm gonna throw my money at them. Ghost point them
Yeah.
for next year, maybe. But,
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much the outlook.
Yeah, then from that we get straight into turkey season, April 15th. Yeah, which I'm excited for.
Oh, me too.
Really want, my goal this year is to try to get one with my bow.
Mm-hmm.
I've never attempted it either, and so I think that would be pretty fun to try. It could be a pretty cool accomplishment. I've never like seriously turkey hunted a lot. I've gone and I've tried calling and stuff, but and I've gotten some to come in. Never have gotten them to commit. All the turkeys I've killed have actually been spot and stock in areas where I just knew they were. And they were high pressured, so calling almost did the opposite of bringing them in, pushed them away. Because I tried a couple times on some of them, and they would. I mean, not a great caller, but in areas where there's not as pressured of turkeys, I've called them in before, even not being great. But yeah, that's my goal. If I get one or two with a bow, would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, and I honestly, not to be like overly optimistic, but with some of the connections we've made, some of the spots we have in public, and then some of the connections we've already made just recently, even on some private chunks that border public, I think that we could definitely get you a turkey with your bow, get you opportunities.
Yeah,
I mean, you gotta make the shot,
still gotta
right?
make it, yeah.
But get you the opportunities, though, I think for sure. I think are there as long as the birds are there. We've had a way harder winter, abnormal. I mean, last one close to this, I think everyone's saying is like back in '96.
Yep, I believe that's what it was.
So, if the birds are back where they, as they should be, quote unquote, but I think we can make that happen for sure. Whether it's, just using natural cover, throwing up a ground blind, whatever. I think we could get you one on bow and get it on camera.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Which would
cool
be
first
epic.
video for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't put together a turkey hunting video yet, so that'd be cool to put on YouTube.
And like I said, a couple of the spots that we found, I think, are gonna have the opportunity to pay off just with the density of birds, and just where the locations are in the terrain. I mean, we have some pretty good spots, and I'm obviously really excited.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that's what also is pretty cool about this area is now we've grown the turkey population really well in the last couple of years, and now we have an over-the-counter fall turkey hunt, which goes from September 1st or 15th or something to the end of December. And so now that there's getting to be so many turkeys out on the land, landowners are more open to allowing people to go hunt. I mean, because they're also, for someone that, wants to keep their yard nice and everything, sometimes turkeys cause problems, They're scratching up the grass and everything else. And
well, they crap everywhere.
Yeah.
People's cars, on their porches, everywhere. And I think a lot of people are complaining, or one of the reasons why they opened it up too is so many people complaining about it. And I think it's a lot of people that come into the area and don't realize if you feed them this year, next year they're going to come back like times 4 quantity, and they're not going to leave.
Yeah.
And the next year, I had some people when I was working down at the store in town, as an outdoor store, they'd come and, oh yeah, we love turkeys, we're going to feed them some grain. And I would just tell them like the disclaimer, I'm going to let you know, how many do you have? They'd be like, 15. I'm like, you'll have 100 next year. I'm like, these things populate very well. I mean, depending on what birds of prey and predators and stuff, but I mean, they populate fast and very well. So just beware. And then literally 2 years later, they came back in and showed me a picture of 100 birds.
Really?
In 2 years.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, and they want to get rid of them. They were asking us to come, me and a buddy come up there and said, shoot them all. I said, well, we can take between us 4, but I'm like, it's not going to make a dent. Like you can't, if you're going to feed them, this is what's going to happen. And the population just erupted, and not just because people feeding them, just in the wild alone.
Yeah, it just was the last couple of years. It was crazy because when I was younger, starting to hunt, I don't feel like I saw that many. I mean, there was in one unit there was a special late fall turkey hunt, which me and my dad got drawn for once, but it was pretty hard in the fall. It was late fall, November or something, and so it wasn't super easy hunt. But now, I mean, it's over the counter. There's birds everywhere, and I mean, if you go ask a landowner, there's a good chance they might say yes to hunt. and because there are very well known flocks on public land that get hit pretty frequently every year, and so especially once you start getting into May, they get pretty smart. If you're not on them that first week, probably, then people are calling and they're getting pushed, and it definitely gets harder. So it is pretty cool when you get an opportunity to hunt a flock that hasn't been pressured too much, and it's definitely worth a shot to do. So to ask a landowner, and yeah, doesn't hurt if they say no, but it's cool to hunt what they say yeah.
Oh yeah, and like you said, just elaborate a little more, like getting out, whether cutting firewood, up in the woods, or driving, scouting, whatever, or even just getting out with the kids. It's where we used to, you'd probably see some grouse maybe or something like that, and you rarely see turkeys. But now it's coming to and from or where we're going, it's you see them, not every time,
Yeah,
but
frequently.
I mean way more.
Yeah.
I mean more than double. So there's definitely a healthy population, and I'm happy to make a dent in that this year.
Yeah, I hope so. That'd be cool if we could get all 4 birds.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, between us, that would be cool.
Oh yeah, I got more wall space I need to fill up with some fans up here.
Yeah.
And I need to I'm actually perfect, I'm not gonna lie. I want a small tom.
Yeah.
Because I want to put that fan on my full strut decoy, because the fan I have on there is a bigger adult, and I've had some turn and walk when I'm calling them in, or just held up like, oh, that guy might kick my ass.
Yeah.
Where I know a buddy of mine, Matt, he has his full strutter, and it's a full tom. It's a tom fan, but it's literally the size of like a Jake. It's smaller.
Huh.
And that's right. He shot a small bird, and so, but I got to commend him for it. It's worked great because you put the fan on there, both the set of wings on, and it looks like a small tom. And so, I mean, if there's anything, whether it's a Jake or a couple Jakes, or a tom, they're coming in and they want to beat it up because it's a small looking bird. But it works too. So I'm like, if I could get a small tom, I'll take any tom. Don't get me wrong, but if I could get a small tom,
that'd be cool.
just one.
Yeah.
That would be awesome, because that fan he put on there, the wings, it looks great. I mean, it works, and I think a lot of it is you look at it. We joke around it too. It looks like a little small tom, even though it looks smaller than a Jake. And so they come into it and they just want to beat the hell out of it.
That's cool.
I mean, it works. And so that's what I'm like, dang. So he even said too, at first he was kind of, but I'm like, dude, that works out for you good.
Yeah.
That decoy's going to last you a long time. That's awesome. So that would be picture perfect if I can be picky. Small tom first, then the rope draggers through the second tag. We'll call it good.
Are you wanting to do it with your bow or shotgun?
Do shotgun first for sure.
Okay.
And then after that, we'll see. I want to do one with a bow. Definitely do shotgun first. Because I'm also, when it comes down to it, I'm a meat guy too.
Yeah.
To where I'm like, I'm gonna throw this thing in my freezer.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to get one with the shotgun first, and then the second one to play around with. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a shotgun. And again, I'm a meat guy too, so I definitely want to get a tom, at least do one for sure.
Yeah.
But depending on where we're at, if there's a healthy population of Jakes too, I'd take a Jake on my. If they're both coming in, and it's and I don't want to just start shooting Jakes in an area that's thinned,
Yeah.
Because there are some areas obviously have more than others, but I'd be happy to dump a tom and a Jake in one set, no problem.
Yeah.
And then I could focus on, hey, let's go get you one on camera too.
Yeah.
Both of them on camera. So I would have nothing against, doubling up, obviously, or shooting even a Jake or something for a second one. Obviously, I want a tom, but as far as a shotgun or bow, like I said, first one with the gun, second one I'd be open. We'll
Cool.
see.
Yeah, that's one of both Tanner and I's goals this year, is to start getting some better quality film and hunts put together. If you guys watch my YouTube, Hunt Trapping Horns Outdoors, I've put up quite a few videos, but they're not always the highest quality videos because, self-filming and trying to prioritize, do you shoot the animal or do you, and since I've been in school the last 4 years, and meat was important to have, and so I was at prioritizing getting the animal over getting the shot on film, but that probably going to change this year. I'd really like to start getting the whole thing and better quality, and especially having you on board that's good at editing and video type stuff. It'll be cool to learn from you and see what exactly we can put together, because it's gonna be a fun year.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
You know, I love filming and editing, so I'm pretty excited. So
Cool.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
we're both jacked for turkey. I can't get here. We need to do some scouting, but I can't get here soon
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
For sure.
And following that, we get into spring fishing season in that
Yeah.
April, May
Mm-hmm.
time. You have any plans for that?
Yeah. So fishing, is my background is definitely more fishing based. Done just a little bit of turkey and more heavy into the whitetail. Definitely archery for whitetail, but kind of fishing's one of my jam. Gear fly fishing, either to do fly tying. We're gonna have fly tying videos up on the YouTube also.
Yeah.
Got all those links and stuff, and in the description we'll have the links for all the socials too. But yeah, no, I want to get out late winter, spring walleye, especially out here on the Big C and the Columbia is a good one, especially for walleye. Walleye are a fun fish, but they are a pain in the ass. It's one of those fish that at least for me, I haven't found another fish like it.
Really?
So yeah, I mean that just has that behavior, or the tendencies, at just what they do throughout the year. And so it can be, one day you're hitting fish in this spot. Well, guess what? Whether it's temp, the barometrics change, whatever, it can be completely done. And if you don't know why, you're not going to find them, or you're going to hit that, one fish or two fish in 8 hours, which I'm like, cool, but not really.
Yeah.
So,
I've never caught a walleye before. So.
They're one of my favorite eating fish. I'll take a walleye over a king salmon.
Yeah, the guys
Not over
I
a
help with
sockeye,
in
but I'll take it over
Idaho,
a king.
he
No
brings
problem.
walleye. Always brings walleye in and we
Yeah.
fry it up when we're hunting. It's amazing. It's so good.
It's good fried. I mean, you could freaking bread it and fry it. You could beer batter fry it. I baked it, sautéed with veggies. I have all sorts of. It's really good. It's sweet, especially it's a sweeter fish. It doesn't have a super fishy taste, and target the 18 inchers. That's it.
Really?
16 to 18 inch is what you want. Any of the bigger ones, it's not nearly as good tasting. Not nearly as that little sweetness aftertaste. And then also big females too. Just tell you, do a little education. Let all your big fish go, especially females. They take, I think, don't quote me on it, but it's like 6 to 8 years for them to sexually mature.
Really?
To reproduce. So it takes time. And so anything over 18 inches, I put back. Don't want it. Even at 20. Maybe I'll keep a 20. Just because I didn't have a tape measure or something.
Yeah.
But. Those big ones, and you're allowed to keep a bigger one. There's a slot there, and you can keep one bigger one, but we throw them all back just because it takes so much. And then also now you look at the Columbia River, walleye fishing on it has blown up and gotten way more popular, and we can already see, I don't want to say a dip in the amount of catching you're doing, but it seems like at times it's getting more difficult. And again, I don't know if that's just the fish and my lack of knowing their whole biology, or the ecosystem they're living in, the waters. But it seems like at times it's getting very crowded. But so that's one thing. The spring, early winter walleye is awesome. It's great fishing, especially there's not nearly as many people out in the cold.
Yeah.
So which is awesome too. I can handle the cold. You can handle it, no problem. So you can get out there, and there's way fewer boats. So that's one thing. Also, the trout fishing out there, whether it's gear or fly fishing, probably like to do as much fly fishing as I can just because I like it. I like tying flies and all that, and everything that kind of encompasses fly fishing, and then on film too. So that'll be probably my first two spots I hit, or first two species on the Columbia. Another one actually is a good one, and I'll hot spot it here actually just because it's a very well-known lake and people don't hit it nearly as much, is actually fly fishing Omak Lake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and a lot of people don't fish it. Not sure why.
Yeah.
But
I've heard some giants have been caught out
yeah,
there.
and that's where they have the Lahontan cutthroats, just like they have down in Pyramid Lake. Fun fighting fish. They actually feel a lot like a walleye. They don't head shake like a trout does, and you get the ding, 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 your rod bouncing really quick. They fight more like a walleye, a big pulse, boom, pumping on the rod. Big head shakes, not the little tiny ones, and they run. But the fun thing about them is, especially on a fly, is they are straight meat eaters. They eat meat. So you're out there throwing the bigger streamers,
Yeah.
enticing those bites, and you'll get. And also, it's probably the number one fish I have follow more flies or lures, whatever you want to use. Make sure to check your regs because there are specific regulations out there. But they follow your bait, lure, whatever, fly all the way. Like they'll follow it all the way into the shore.
Wow.
And turn away at the last minute. So you see visuals too. Even if
Yeah.
you're not catching, you're seeing fish, which is just pretty cool.
It's kind of like
But so-
those tiger muskies when you watch
Oh,
those videos,
for
them
sure.
coming right in. Then they actually do figure eights at the end
Oh yeah.
every time because people
And they'll
catch
hit
them
them
right
right
there.
under the
Yeah.
under the boat. They'll come out and
Yeah.
bam. And so it's a fun fish. I mean, I've caught them. I've been out with other guys catching. I mean, they've caught 30-inch fish out of there,
That's crazy.
like huge.
I've
And like
never
the
fished
first
that
time we
one.
I saw one get pulled up, and I was actually filming for a buddy when I worked at the fly shop, filming out there, and I was just like, we were holy shit, like we did. I mean, it filled the net. The
Yeah.
whole U shape. We're like, oh my god, huge fish in there. I mean, and he had a 6 foot, I still remember, I have the same fly rod, an Echo Ion. It's a beast of a fly rod. It's 10 foot 6 weight, and it had that thing doubled over. Like it was, I mean, you're hooking into a salmon or something. Like
That's
I mean,
crazy.
it took a minute to get that fish in, and it was awesome. And then I hit a couple of my own before, and so that is a fun one. Especially those fish too, they like different looking flies. So you can use some traditional streamer patterns, but then you can kind of throw in some of the ones like you might use a little more for steelhead, the brighter colors, ones that are more fun to look at for the
Yeah.
fishermen, and also way more fun to tie. And so you can mix it up a lot. So Omak Lake is a good one. And again, not afraid to share that. It's all over the internet. So it's no secret. But again, not a lot of people hit it.
Yeah, that's true. You don't hear very many people talking about it, but the people that do, they're catching giants out of
Oh
there.
yeah. And I mean there's records out of there, no problem.
I mean,
There's guys-
I've
they'll go out
lived
there with
near it.
and downrigger fish out of boats, and these guys have it dialed,
Yeah.
and they're hitting those big fish no problem all the time. And so I mean, there's some technique to it. Not going to go into it too much, but learn the science, learn the fish, and you can hit those fish regularly. I mean, it's not. I mean, they're a consistent fish you should expect to catch. So those will be my primarily for spring, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't have too many plans for any spring fishing trips. Just most likely local lakes, hitting those like I have before, and it's just fun to always get out after winter and go catch some fish. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, just
Especially do you like the catch and cook?
yeah,
The shore cook on the fire. That's always a good one.
yeah. I always like just catching bluegill and crappie and stuff. Also, just that's a fun thing. They eat well, and especially crappie, bluegills sometimes are hard to get enough size, but
Oh, they get a little thin.
yeah.
For sure.
But crappies usually get big enough to eat well.
Oh yeah, and then there's even a river not too far. Also, is we'll go out for perch out there too.
Oh yeah.
You can catch some big perch.
Huh.
We'll go out there jigging for walleye in a stretch. Usually use Rapalas to try to locate some walleye. And usually, if you hit a walleye, we'll go back through it again. If we hit another one there, anchor up, start jigging. Oh, excuse me. The bubbly. But start jigging, and then you'll start hitting perch on them too. And so, perch fry, awesome. Fish tacos all night.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's a good one too.
Yeah. And once we get out of spring fishing, you mentioned you wanted to try doing some summer creek fishing as well.
Yes.
With fly. rod.
Yep. So I love the blue lining, where you just basically open up. Okay, I know there's water here. I'm pretty sure there's fish in it. And you just kind of put your finger on the map on it. Let's go there, and you go. And a lot of the times, there's no water even. It could be dried up, or there could be no fish, or you figure out like as you're hiking up the creek, wow, here's an impassable feature, a waterfall, boulder field, whatever. Fish aren't getting by it. And so you're like, well, that's that. And sometimes they got fish in and you're catching and it's great. And other times there's nothing. But you can basically, I'll open up, was it the gazetteer, man?
Yeah.
Up there and just put a little red X on it. That's it next to the nearest name of the creek, Just put a little red X to it. Nope, nothing there. I have no luck.
Are you just tossing the fly in the cricklet and letting it float down? Or are you trying to find a spot where you can actually get the full motion in?
Oh no, so most of that stuff is really tight technical fishing, especially in our woods around here, because they don't do a lot of thinning,
Yeah.
a lot of spots anymore. So stuff's getting so crowded to where I'm using like a little 2 weight, like 6.5 foot rod, maybe somewhere in there, 6.5 feet, 2 weight, really light line, light tippet, small stuff, small flies. When it comes to that, I'm not a huge nip fisherman, which are nips are the ones that you basically fish subsurface, and where you just kind of dead stick, you let it drift naturally down, right? I'm not huge into that, just because I just don't get as much out of it, I guess, for the time that I have.
Okay.
But it is like one of the most effective ways by far to
Yeah.
catch fish. I like to do the dry flies, this topwater stuff. A lot of the times when you're getting up there in those blue lines, it's thinner water. It's not real deep, obviously, because they're high mountain creeks, typically. So you can use dry flies that are just floating on top, because a lot of those river creeks, too, are low, I'm going to say low nutrients, but they just don't have as much food coming down.
Yeah.
So they're more apt, and also they don't have pressure. People don't do this here, it's just okay for me. It's great.
Yeah.
But they don't want to spend the time to go hiking and explore. They want to look online, figure out, is anyone posting about this on Facebook, type of thing, versus going out and exploring and putting in the footwork yourself. One, and then two, I just enjoy it. I mean, when you get up there, I'm using my own fly. On a creek I've never been before, or I've never heard anyone even talk about, and I hook a fish, sweet, I'm good. Like that's what I came here to do. I'm done, and I keep fishing obviously, but that's it.
Do you ever go up in the Alpine lakes and do any fly fishing up there?
I have some. This year definitely want to get out more. We'll see how the new little one does when she's here. But yeah, we'll throw the kids. We even took a wagon before pulling them in the wagon. Throw them in a bag when my son was small enough. Now he's taking after dad, getting bigger. But we'd throw him in the backpack. We had one of the carriers. Throw him in a backpack. It was literally, I could fit a rod tube, no problem, on the side of it. Already, with the reel on it and everything, and in its case. Throw it on the pack and go, and just had a tin of flies. So, and one thing my wife definitely taught me, and I'm a full believer in now, is because I said, oh, well, it's not going to be fishing. And no, it's going to be fly fishing. It just might look a little different. And now I'm like, all right, you're right. Like, I'm just not, maybe you'll fish quite as long, or I'm not going to be swapping out my sink tips and leaders and dip flies nearly as much, because I'm also trying to help wrangle kids maybe a little bit, or I have less time. So instead of swapping out sink tips or leaders, I'll just change my fly or change my retrieve or something like that, just because I know I have maybe a little less time. So the Alpine lakes are a lot of fun. When you get going up, everybody seems to, or a lot of people seem to go up the North Cascades, the scenic highway, out of the Met-How. That I don't really go on anymore, just because like you'll go to something like Cutthroat Lake, you'll pull into the pull out there.
Yeah, a ton of people.
It'll be 50 cars. At least they'll be parked up and down the highway, and not just in the parking area. So it's like, do I want to go down this path? Like I'm just going to see people nonstop the whole time. And so I want to get away from people, so I'll go into some other ones that aren't, I guess that alpine or that high.
Yeah, not quite, but still getting up there in elevation. That's where I first started getting into fly fishing a little bit, was when we usually go on annual backpack trips somewhere to some alpine lake, and my dad started throwing in his fly rod instead of a regular rod like we were, and trying it up there, which it was fun and frustrating at the same time, because you don't always have that much room at those lakes to actually get the motion down, and when you're learning and you're snagging trees and hitting rocks and everything, it was a little frustrating, but it was fun. And it was super cool to catch a fish on a fly rod up there at those elevations, because they're hungry. You know what I mean? So once that fly lands, there's a good chance something's gonna eat it.
But there's some things I'll show you, and I got plenty of gear we could use, because there's certain rods and techniques you can use to where you don't need that back cast.
Oh really?
Yeah, and so I can do. I'll show you. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if I quite answered your question on the Alpine Creek stuff. You typically we're not doing a full motion. It's just called a roll cast. It's a very basic cast, to where you're basically lifting your line up off the water and bringing your rod forward, basically from like think of your back cast like a 2 o'clock position. Forward cast, you go past 12 maybe to 10. but your line's basically kind of doing a somersault off the surface of the water.
Oh,
So you're
interesting.
picking your lines. You pick your rod up, that fly drags across
Yep.
the top of the surface back to you, and then when you bring that rod forward to, let's say, that 10 o'clock position, the weight of that line kind of does a somersault, and that fly will literally lift up off the water and get flipped out further away from you. And so it's also a very discreet cast too, so you're not spooking fish, because those fish will see your fly line and fly whipping back and forth over them
Yeah.
all the time. So I've even had fish that were so hungry where I'd cast out, and then before I'd basically stop the line to do my back cast,
Yeah.
there's just a fraction of a second, a fish will jump up and try to hit my fly out of the water.
Wow.
I mean, so it's like they're definitely hungry, and that right there, it's like they're seeing everything I'm doing.
Yeah,
Like
for
even
sure.
this
Yeah.
line. So it's like, I mean, especially those alpine fish, because they don't get pressured as much, so they're more apt to eat, but they're also more skittish
Yeah.
because they're not used to it. Whereas you go into a well-known river, let's say like the Methow River, that gets hit by
A lot of people,
bazillion people
yeah.
a year through drift boats and rafts, people fishing. I've literally sat there fishing, or actually a great example on the Missouri River, Montana. Best example ever. I sit there and be fly fishing. You look down, and 6 inches from your boot is a 14-inch brown trout who's eating the little things you're kicking up from your wading boots.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they come to you to eat because they're trained. That's
Wow.
just their environment they live in. They are not shy at all. So there's a give and take there. I would much rather have the skittish fish because I can do well enough to mask myself for my line and what I'm doing,
Yeah.
use longer leaders, things like that, where they're less apt to see it, versus having those fish that are basically trained by people.
Yeah.
So that are sometimes harder to fool, but they're right there. You can even see them. You can't get them to eat. Because don't get me wrong, I'd drop a fly right down right next to my foot and try to get. I mean, who wouldn't do that
Yeah.
their first time? Especially, I've never seen this before. This is nuts. And drop a fly down there. Nope, not going to eat. All right, cast back out. Keep fishing. So I mean, it's a very interesting. I like the alpine stuff quite a bit. So it's
Yeah.
fun going after those hungry fish, especially that they don't see people.
Yeah.
So it's a good one.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I hope we can get some of that on video and
Oh,
put
yeah.
a couple of those trips in. And
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I got a few lakes already picked out.
Sweet.
Actually, I got actually, do you ride horses?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you do, being on the ranch, right? I even got to pack one in for us.
Really?
Yeah. We'll talk about it off air, of course, but as soon as I name this lake, you're going to be like, oh. So it's a good one. And that would be even one we could even hike it on foot, throw pontoon boats on the horses, and go hike up, stay a night or two. You just long line the horses in the wood,
Yeah.
right by you.
Yeah.
You go. I got 2 pontoon boats, the blow up ones,
Yep.
Bucks bags, and go throw on the fins and go out there and kick around. And one lake you can catch very large. For a high mountain lake, there are very large trout in it, and nobody fishes it. They'll fish it from the bank.
Yeah.
But,
Can't
no
get
one's
out
gonna
there.
pack up because it's a hike and
Yeah.
there's some elevation gain, hence the horse. But I go up there and fish off the bank with my fly rod or throw on waders and wade out as far as I can, and you can have a great luck. But people don't do that. They don't want to put either they don't have the resources, right?
Yeah.
I got horses at my disposal and truck and trailer, no problem.
Yeah.
Other people don't. So I've seen some people try to pack blow-up rafts and things up there that they do not work.
Yeah.
Like the Walmart style. It's like they're out there just paddling circles off the bank. You can't get the thing to actually go straight.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that there's a couple gems out there. I think we would have access to where other people it'd be more difficult.
Cool.
So, no, we'll talk off air.
Yeah, and straight out of that, we'll be getting into scouting and prepping for fall hunts, and that's what I'm super excited about this year. This year, I definitely want it to be, like the year of the bow. I really want to kill a turkey with my bow, and then if I could kill a bear with my bow, it would be pretty awesome. I haven't done that. I've been within range of them at times when I wasn't hunting, just working and stuff, but never got the opportunity to do it. So that's one of my goals, and then also kill a deer with my bow would be cool. But yeah, it's all going to start with prepping in the summer and finding locations and scouting and trying to figure it out, because it's going to be kind of tough, I think, to get on one with the bow. But
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely got to put in the time.
mm-hmm.
But No, I'm excited too. Again, there's so much to do with going out scouting. I mean, looking, you're obviously looking for certain things, but it's also another time where you can go out, look for your sheds. You
Yeah.
can go out, you're looking, I mean, at all just sorts of I mean, just looking for wildlife in general. It's just a good time to get out. I mean, and it's also one of those things too. You never know what you're going to find or see. You always have expectations, but
Yeah.
you never know exactly what is it going to be, what is it going to look like, until you slap the phone scope on and be like, "All right, hit record. We found something." You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, and I got a couple of tree stands I want to get up as well. That try to hunt bears out of that. I've never done that as well, and I don't know. It's not the only option, but it might be the best option to try to kill one with a bow. And I know of some areas where they're traveling through frequently, and I think it's just sit there for however many days it takes. Something will walk through. It's just going to be a matter of time.
To have that patience.
Yeah,
Which is
it's going to be
hard.
hard for me because I've never been a tree stand or blind hunter, but it'll be good to work on, and I'll probably just have to try to figure out scouting and see what's going to work the best, because I'll most likely be seeing bears throughout the summer doing that stuff. So just trying to figure out how to get set up or how would be the most efficient way to get on, because they're going to be coming. It gets 90, 100 degrees here in July and August, and bear opens August 1, so they go to water frequently. That might be another way, is going and sitting on water in areas, and yeah, I think that'll be pretty fun. And also locating deer. I would really like to try to get up to some higher country in the summer and see if we can find any bachelor group of bucks or something to get on when September rolls around for early archery.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I definitely want to I want to get up to where I can do a lot of more whitetail hunting, but I know I'm not going to be up there.
Yeah.
Probably come hunting season again, just not going to have the time with the newborn. So we'll see. Or I should say, not going to have the time. I won't have the vacation time really either to go from work. But, that's okay. But I definitely like getting up there. It's one of those spots where I think everyone has your honey holes, the spots that are sentimental to you, I should say. And this spot up there is one for me. Just a ton of quality whitetail and some good bear hunting as well. So I'll definitely go up there and set out, 8 to 10 cameras, even though I'm not going to hunt. But just then, you go through the whole thing. You get the camera out, you go back, whether you're baiting or not, pull the chips, see what you get, download it on my phone, bring my phone back, put it on the computer, catalog it in the computer, what camera it is, what location, and they're all date and time stamped. And then I'm comparing bucks. Oh man, is this one from last year? Or, I didn't see, this might be a new buck, or it could be this one from 2 years ago, but I didn't see him last year, And it's just, you can I enjoy putting those puzzle pieces together, pulling up Onyx, seeing exactly where they're at, what time of year, what does the water look like, what was our winter like, and just geek out on the scouting. Even though, it's going to change, I might throw those cameras up here in, end of April, May, and just depending on the snow, to get up there, because it's a ways up there. But it's still like, I don't know, I just love geeking out on that stuff and just creating a catalog of where that buck is. And I'm also knowing a couple people that hunt up there, late archery, and there's very few, but there's a couple kind of diehard dudes that hunt up there. And, we'll send pictures back and forth, not necessarily trail cameras, because we get a lot of the same bucks, but, who's harvesting what? All right, damn it, mark that one off.
Yeah.
That file's closed. But just kind of geeking out on that, especially in those sentimental spots. And then just around here. I mean, our little 30 acres ain't much, but there's a lot of wildlife around. And so definitely throw up some cameras, just see what's walking through. And we've gotten everything. We haven't even been here. February will be 1 year we've been here. And I haven't got any whitetail here, but muley, bear, coyotes, all sorts of different birds and stuff. But I mean, all of those just in the first year, and it's only, couple 100 yards max from my deck I can look off of.
Yeah.
So it's not far, and just so having that there, I mean, even just sitting out on the deck with the spot scope up, which I'm also excited about getting some new glass too this year.
Yeah.
But But throwing that up and just sitting out on the deck with a cold brew, or your cold drink, and just after a long day, and I'm like, I'm
Just
looking forward to
watching
that.
deer.
And then also I can look across the road on your property where you're at, just start scouting on yours. Oh, hey.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. We do live pretty close and both have decent amount of land to hunt on, which is cool. And so always, this year was the first time I've ever seen whitetail come through. I was sitting inside and looking out the window, and two whitetails ran down the road. And I've worked on the ranch that I live on since I was 16. I've never seen them in the spot where we're living now, and I've seen them up above, probably another 2,000 feet, but never down low. They usually bail off a different way and down towards the river in the wintertime. Yeah, so yeah, just that's mostly it for me for prepping and scouting, is just trail cams and tree stands and just getting out. I think just getting out is going to be a big, just locating animals.
And of course, just keep shooting,
For
and all
sure.
that stuff.
Yeah, didn't know if you saw, but there's a big, not big, but a bigger bow shoot that's down at Stevens Pass that they have.
What is that?
Northwest Mountain Challenge. Yeah, this year they released the dates, July 14th through the 16th is what it is.
That's a good. I know quite a few people that have gone to that one, and they say it's a good one.
That's
it's
what
hard.
I think.
It's
I'm
not easy.
planning on. Actually, July 14th is my son's first birthday, so I probably won't be going down that day. But if they do single day passes, I might try to sneak down there on a Saturday, Sunday, or whichever days it is, and yeah, it'd be cool to go do one of those bigger ones. And they have a bunch of different courses, and I just bought a new bow this winter, so I'm so excited. That's what I want to really hunt a lot with my bow this year. It's exciting to get a new bow. Just like if I would have got a new gun, I would have wanted to get it out and hunting with it. So yeah, definitely want to try to get down to that.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, no, that'd be fun. And like I said, I've heard really good things about that one for sure.
Yep, me and my buddies have always talked about going, but never committed to it, or going, like dreams of going down to the big ones in Utah and all those ones that are hard to get into, but someday that'll be cool.
No, they're fun. I've been not huge shoots like that, but some different ones out in Montana when I was living out there, and just Target was actually pretty big out there. And they're a blast. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's just a good crowd.
Yeah, even the local ones that aren't super big, but they're super fun. And there's a lot of people up there you talk to and trade information. It kind of
reminds me of, like, I used to like do a lot of skiing and snowboarding, and when you go to the hill, everyone is always in a good mood. Yeah, because everyone is there for like a reason. We're there to you're there to ride and have fun. Yeah, the same thing kind of with these shoots. Everybody there is, for the most part. Yeah, everyone's stoked to be there just because everyone loves to hunt or shoot or some part of archery.
Sharing the same hobby.
Yeah, and so it just seems like there's always a good mood, a good vibe. Yeah. Whereas other, I don't know, maybe some other stuff, it's not as much. But it's so kind of singled out archery target hunters, or archery, just hunters in general, getting together. It's just, people are always stoked just to be there, and it's a good time for sure.
Yeah. Then straight out of that, we're getting right into bear season, August 1, and I know you're really looking forward to that.
I am. Never shot a bear. Yeah. Never even tried. Although I bought, plenty of bear tags, because when you get your deer tag, you ought to get your bear tag, because you're going in the woods. But I could have had a bear 100 yards from me and not even see it, because I'm looking for the straight back, the white tail, or some ears, looking for deer. I'm not looking for bear at all, or even bear sign, unless they're tearing up a big old tree or something. Yeah. So I am thrilled to be hopefully getting a first bear this year. Yeah. I'm actually dedicating time solely for bear. That's it. I'm going for bear, not deer, and bear would be a bonus. No, this is going to be bear. So I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, I'm ready for that too. Hopefully see you get one. I've killed, I believe, 6 now.
I was staring at one of them right here on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, that was 2 years ago. I never really got into it until I was about 16, and just spending time looking for bears you'll find them. It's crazy. I never had before that been looking for them or anything, but I decided start bear hunting and had the opportunity on some places to hunt, and just going and looking for them, you'll find them. Because I mean, you're especially in that August time, they're pretty easy to track. They do the similar things all the time. You know, they're going between water and food and shade. And so, especially in our country where it's not, we got open areas with pockets of timber, and so they're going to cross an open area at some point because they're going between their water and food and shade. So it's finding those locations where you can sit and overlook areas where there's bears at, but just waiting for them to move through is how I've had the best luck for sure. And finding their food sources and being at the right elevation at the right time when the berries are ready, whichever, if it's the elderberries or any of them, it works. Just looking for them. Because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of bears out there. I didn't think I didn't think I would see as many bears as I've seen now at the age I'm at. I mean, for a couple summers, I was seeing 30 plus bears just because I was out looking. I had the time to be out and was working out there also. So it was pretty fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Primarily for your bow or for your bears, you're just glass and spot and stock? Is that pretty much?
Yeah, it mostly... Actually, they're usually within range. I usually don't shoot more than... The farthest bear I've killed, which was this one, was 350 yards. And that was going to a spot and sitting and waiting and just overlooking an area where there was a bunch of draws with quakies and berries and water in some of the draws. And so they're just moving through and just waiting for one to come out until where you can see it. I sit many a times and they're walking through, but I just can't see them. They're just in blind spots where they're staying in the draw or walking, in areas where I just can't quite see. But yeah, that definitely is how. This year I killed one also. I found a spot where I knew they were eating at very frequently and just every day, almost every day, and I would just go up and peek over this ridge and look, and I'd sit for a minute and I don't know, maybe 30 minutes, and if I didn't see anything, I'd just leave and come back, and eventually I went and did that, and there was a bear there where it was eating at. So
nice.
I think if we put in time this year, I think we'll get you a bear.
Nice. So primarily you're suggesting you find a glassing spot, overlook, find what they're looking for, like you have food, like some type of bedding, shade, water, and then you're just waiting for them to make their move.
Yep.
And the other thing I thought was interesting was the time of day. You see in some bears around too.
Yeah.
Because I'm a deer. I'm like a whitetail guy. You got half hour in the morning, half hour in the evening for a lot of the time.
Yeah. I've killed 6 bears. 2 of them I've killed in the evening, and the rest of them I have killed between 11 and 1 in midday, moving. They're moving through. And
so, they could be, I'm assuming moving either to like a shaded spot because
or
they're getting
water,
towards the heat of the day or water.
That'd be my guess.
On water before that 2-3 o'clock heat window really hits.
Is that they're trying to get to a cooler spot. Because it's a lot of the bears, it's above 85 degrees when I kill them. So you got to hurry once you get it. But yeah, it's usually above 85 degrees midday, and they're just on the move, I think, trying to find somewhere cooler to be. Yeah. And then just laying and being hot. It's so hot out. But that's hard also, is you just got to hurry. And once you get to them, you got to get them out fast because you don't want their meat to spoil or hide to slip. The first bear I killed, it was 95 or 96 degrees out. And it was probably a little bit later. It was probably that 1 o'clock time period. And his hide ended up slipping, getting him out of there because he was in a nasty canyon. We just hiked out over this ridge and looked down into this canyon. It just happened to walk out at that time that we looked over between just where there's trees going through the canyon, and then there's a little open spot and more trees, and it happened to be in that open spot when we looked. And by the time we got out of there, the meat was good. We ate it and it was good, but the back end of the hide slipped. The hindquarters did. I still have the front because I brought it to taxidermist, being my first bear, I wanted to get it rugged. It was a decent sized bear, also probably, I don't know, 285 pounds ish. So not a monster, but it was a decent one. Yeah. Sure. So I wanted to get him rugged, but the taxidermist called me and said his hide slipped. So he cut, but the front didn't. So he cut the front off, and I just kept that and didn't do anything with it. Didn't get it mounted or anything. So I just have that now. But.
And so basically on that one, you're getting the meat out. You're probably not deboning it, I'm assuming.
No.
You just quarter, get all the rib, backstrap, whatever you can, throw it in the freezer.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as I get it back. Sometimes if I can get it out within, 30 minutes to an hour, I just try to get it out whole. And like I've had a buddy bring up just a game cart before and try to get it out. It's not always easy in the areas, but just it gets it out fast enough than sitting there messing with the meat in the heat. And then I just, as soon as I get home, I bring it inside and do it on the kitchen table. Yep, because it's cooler in there than it is outside, and I don't want that meat to spoil.
I'll have to have a talk with my wife.
Yeah. Yep, I think my girlfriend's kind of used to it by now. It's been a couple times.
Oh, I don't know how she'd feel. Come plop a bear in on the kitchen table, and she's sitting there with a big newborn.
Yeah, I did that this year because, my son was born on July 14th, and I killed my bear pretty early in August. And I was like, I started doing it outside, and I was like, it's too hot. There's so many bugs, and I don't want
providing for the family.
I like bear meat, and so I didn't want it to go to waste. And the best way to do that was bring it inside. And
actually, so I can bring it down here. We got a daylight basement where it's cool down here.
Yeah.
So I know I'll probably be down.
That would
with
work.
The door here too. We can bring it right in, right here. Throw a tarp or whatever. Start freaking cutting it.
Yeah, and then I go straight from that because I could get access, but I don't have easy access to a walk-in freezer. So I just put it on ice for a couple days and cut it up, and I haven't had any problems with my bear meat.
Nice. Okay. Oh man, I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope we can get a couple bears down.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we will. I can't wait. I'm ready for sure.
Then you're talking about once you get into September, since having a couple month old baby and everything, you're probably just gonna be hunting for a doe to get some meat. Get some meat in the freezer, and since you won't have a bunch of time to get out.
And then do meat hunt. Also, we got does coming through here, and it crossed my mind already knowing okay, we're gonna have a baby. Basically, as soon as I knew we were gonna have. She was pregnant. We were having a kid. It was all planned, and so even this year, sitting in the ground blind here on our property, I'm kind of just taking an eyeball. How many lone does or how many does we have that aren't packing a little one around, even in tow. So there's plenty. I did see plenty of does around here that had no yearlings or anything with them. So I'm pretty confident that
be able to little take
scouting and stuff. I'll be able to get a doe here, just a lone doe. And just meat hunt. Like I said, I'm definitely a meat hunter. Don't get me wrong, I want racks on the walls too. But when it comes down to it, I'm like, okay, I can go do a weekend hunt where I really want to for a whitetail, or I can hunt multiple days, a few hundred yards from the house here, and spend a lot more time out in a tree stand or blind. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I want to
be able to come back if you need to or whatever.
Yeah, oh, for sure, especially with the newborn half. She needs
and you never know, a buck may roll through. Also, it's just here at that time of year, we don't always get that many bucks,
during
down
the daylight too, especially.
Yeah, that's true.
So a lot of the ones I do see, even up where I whitetail hunt too, a lot up there too, they're going nocturnal. Just because even up there, you're still hitting 80,
Yeah.
So it's they go a lot more nocturnal. So if a buck comes in, thwack,
for sure.
Get stuck, or I'm gonna try to.
Yeah.
But so we'll see. But I'm primarily expecting it'll be a doe hunt. Throw meat in the freezer. I'm done there. Hopefully before that we'll have, or around the time, get a bear somewhere in there too. Got my bear, got my deer. Freezer looks good. Still got plenty of beef. I'm set. And then also the nice thing on that too is then I turn around and focus also on filming you as well, because I want to get some good footage, especially get your late hunt, get your bear, all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it's going to be a early season archery, probably doe, or I'm saying I'm open to a doe, no
Yeah.
problem. If it
Yeah.
walks in, presents a shot, and the camera's in focus, I'm going to send it. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking for early season for sure. Like I said, I'm gonna set up cameras up there, go do some scouting in our other spots too. But that's more just to get out and,
Yeah.
and fulfill that itch, that I want to
Mhm.
scratch. But yeah, primarily early season will be the doe hunt here. So which I'm still excited for. I mean, it's
Yeah.
fun. For me, hunting's hunting. I mean, I just
Mhm.
love it. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm hoping I can get drawn for multi-season this year, and so I'm gonna do archery no matter what, but hopefully I get multi-season on top of that, and so I'll be out during that September time filming your hunt, hopefully when that goes through, and then once you get your deer tag filled, I'll probably be out looking as well. I usually don't spend a ton of time out during September. It's a hard time of year where we're at. I know I've talked to some people that are down south in areas where there's not as much elevation change and different things, and they have a lot better luck in September than we do, and yeah, just more local bucks down there, especially in the crop wheat field type country, and so maybe I'll go give a shot down there and try that out, because I know there's some big wheat field bucks that
oh yeah,
are taken every year. And I never, besides this year, I kind of hunted near it with my late hunt, but I wasn't in wheat field country or anything, and
yeah.
Yeah, might be something worth trying.
Oh,
We'll
for sure.
see.
Oh yeah.
If not that, then going up high around here and
Yeah.
trying to find some of those. Cause I know when we used to do our backpack trips up high, we'd see some big bucks way up there, like 7,000-8,000 feet or higher, whichever.
Oh yeah. Well, the next couple of years too, as I want to look into look into that high buck hunt,
Mm-hmm.
especially having horses at your disposal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole game changer. You can, especially if you're rifle hunting too.
Yep.
So you obviously can take a longer poke than want to take, a 60-yard max bow
Yeah.
shot, with good conditions. So when you can cover ground on cover ridge tops or get up to ridge tops quick, obviously cover that horse in orange because people are dumb sometimes. But being able to cover so much ground faster or to get to where you want to glass from and just spend more time and you're not expending that energy, I think that could be a game changer a lot. So that's one thing I want to look into is that high buck hunt too.
Yeah. I've done it once, and I missed the biggest buck I've ever gotten the opportunity at. I was only 14, I believe, or something, and just didn't have enough experience to make the shot that was presented.
We've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we've been there, but I did it a couple years ago when I was 32.
Oh yeah.
So, just a big ass whitetail. Yeah, he wouldn't give me a shot. I mean, I did shoot, but he wouldn't give me a shot. But it was like, man, yeah, it happened.
Yeah, I missed under this buck. I don't know. We didn't have time to range because of how fast it happened. But there was one little stick that went up through his vitals at a diagonal, and I chose to go. It wasn't that big. It was maybe half an inch, and so I chose to just hold just under it, and shot and missed just under the buck. And so I should have. And then once we later found out he was farther than what we had predicted, but
Gotcha.
it's getting more popular though, as it's just getting more popular. I hear more people doing it, and
Okay.
yeah. But then once September rolls through, if I haven't got anything, my plan is to hunt the late archery season. Just try to get some of those migration bucks that are rolling through.
Yeah.
Like this year was a great year to hunt them. There was so many deer moving through with the amount of snow we got, because it was November 6th got, I mean, a couple feet of snow.
Oh yeah,
And,
early.
Yeah, and that's 2 weeks before archery season, I believe, around that time, and yeah, there's just so many bucks moved down low. Bucks I don't think we would normally see at this elevation that would have stuck another 1,000, 1,500 feet above where we were seeing them at. And then, yeah, that's my goal is to, or my plan is to do that, but I'm also going to hunt, if I get multi-season, I will go hunt the muzzleloader and rifle seasons and see if I can get lucky on a nice buck.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't, shoot a smaller one. I want to wait till, or it's just a different experience that late season.
Oh yeah.
When they're rutting hard and you're seeing bucks that you wouldn't normally see where they're at. And
oh yeah, it is. It's a blast. So this year was my first one really solely focusing on muleys. Like I said, I'm a whitetail guy, and it was fun. It totally different, very different deer when you get down to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they all need food, water, and a place to sleep, but just their tendencies and how like finicky they are. It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I wouldn't say I can get away. Well, it felt like I could get away with more stuff with a muley, especially being a big guy my size in a ground blind trying to draw back a bow.
Yeah.
Where that cam would barely rub against that ground blind on a whitetail, gone. The muley.
Yeah, they'll turn and
Look back
So
the other way. Did you see that?
So you were hunting out of a blind then this late season?
This late season here,
Okay.
yep, I was out of a blind.
Cool.
Yeah. Just because it hit, just like you said, the snow and everything hit, and it was pretty damn cold. And I was like, I don't want to sit out in this tree stand in the wind, because where I'm at, perfect spot to play the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Morning and evening, it doesn't matter, because usually it flips the wind here a little bit, not always, but a lot of the time I noticed. But I was out of a ground blind for the most part for the muleys, and it was a good time. I mean, it was fun to watch them. It seemed like the does were way more apt and comfortable to come in with kind of a care less attitude walking through. Those bucks, though, they'd still hold up a little bit, but it didn't seem like as much. So it was a blast. I had an absolute fun time, and so I'm pretty excited.
Did you ever have any bucks come in when you were sitting in the blind?
Yes, I mean some of the smaller ones we sent you pictures on. I
Nothing
had a shot
legal.
at that funky.
Oh yeah,
that funky horn one. It was.
He was a 3x4.
Yeah,
but kind of non-typical. Had a weird inline. If you guys follow us on Instagram at Washington Hunt Trap and Horns, you've seen it on there a couple times. That goofy one.
Like that one. I told you I could have shot that. I see this deer walking below our house in the edge of our yard.
Oh really?
It was that one. So I step out on the deck, went full draw on the deck, not even seeing the deer, then just took a big step forward. And, and do the kind of rock at the hips, angling down like out of a tree stand. I'm sitting there, and he's I mean, I could have probably jumped on him with a knife, or would have slocked him, with the spear. I mean, he was literally less than 10 yards. I mean,
wow.
It would have been, I realized, I think I used my 40-yard pin on him because he was that close. I mean, it was a straight right there.
Yeah.
So it was, but I ended up letting my bow down. Because I looked down, I'm literally in slippers, basketball shorts, and a tank top because I was in the house, I don't know, playing with my son or cleaning or something, and I just saw this buck, grab me, But there's the bow, the binos, and the rangefinder do not leave the dining room table, and the kids know not to touch, even the 3-year-old, just in case there's something that, and that's literally what I left it out for. I got it there full draw, and deer he didn't even look. He was just meandering kind of through, walking towards some trees I cut down. He's going to nibble on the buds on them. And just, I can't do it. It doesn't feel like a hunt.
I had that opportunity on the last day of archery, because I had my late hunt coming up after that as well. But I pulled into the house. It was the last day of archery season. And I look in, we don't really have a backyard, but just in the backyard area, and there was a really nice 3-point with eye guards back there. He was at 25 yards, and I just watched him and was range finding him, and he walked. I mean, he was there for probably 30-45 minutes, and I couldn't get myself to do it. It just didn't feel right in that kind of same situation. I was I wasn't hunting. I didn't really deserve to shoot that buck, and
Well, it's funny too. You sent me the picture,
Yeah.
a video of him walking.
Yeah.
You're like, what? You're like, hey, what do you think? I all caps exclamation mark shoot. And then there's me like, oh wait, I didn't.
yeah, same
I was like, oh, okay,
situation
never mind.
almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a different buck, but he was really nice. It just wasn't right,
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a good thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
It just out of
Well, especially,
respect
it's
almost.
different if you like absolutely need the meat.
Yeah.
I mean, versus, this
Yeah.
is more of a, you're still getting meat sustenance, all that, but a pleasure, more of
Yeah.
a pleasure kill. That was a kill. That seems kind of weird, but a pleasure kill. But something like that versus, I gotta feed my family.
Yeah.
This is what we're eating.
Yeah,
So,
like if I had almost zero time to hunt, if I wasn't even like had any trips planned or anything, maybe I would have to, get that meat in the freezer, but I didn't necessarily need it. I had 2 bears and a deer from Idaho already in the freezer, and I just feel like out of respect it wasn't right to
Yeah.
do it like that, and I don't regret it. Even though I shot a smaller buck during my late hunt, I don't regret it because I was actually out hunting for my late hunt. So
yeah.
yeah,
No, can't blame you for that one.
Yeah.
I did the exact same thing, pretty much. So, yeah.
yeah. Does that if you aren't able to get deer during your early season, then are you planning on hunting that late season?
Yeah. I mean, I'll definitely do it here local, or just at the house, on our own property. Just because being here, I could,
Yeah,
my wife's totally fine with I'll run out because I'm a morning person anyways. Even on my days off, I'm still up 5:15 in the morning. I mean, so I can get up, run out there, even sit for that, first
just first light.
few,
Yeah.
go to an hour or two through, through legal light, and then all right, pop out. I gotta get in the house. I got other stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll still for sure try do stuff like that. I just won't. Typically, what my late season looks like is I block out a week and a half straight, and I go up hunting whitetail. Throw up the canvas tent, wood stove. There's a couple feet, foot to 2 feet of snow on the ground where I'm at typically, and you're battling the cold and elements
Yeah.
and thinking I hate life until a buck shows up, and then you're like,
So you look back on it.
oh, it's the best thing ever, and it keeps. I'm gonna come back next year. So that whole thing. So that's typically what it looks like, and then typically also is my scouting is a lot more in tune, and I'm just doing a lot more of it. I'm up there,
Yeah.
a couple times a month. It still is a drive up there, an hour and a half ish to where I'm actually hunting. But I'm up there a couple times a month, at least checking cameras, doing things like that. To where again, I just want to have as much time. I can get up there, one weekend a month, maybe. Something like that, or 1 weekend every couple months. Especially if I'm not hunting up there, I'll let those cameras sit a little longer with bigger chips in them. So that's typically what it looks like. So now, I don't have that opportunity this year just because I got, way better opportunity. Going to be, and I don't say new dad, but, new baby, new dad again. And so still hunt. Again, look a little different. Hope my wife hears that one. And even though she won't probably listen to this, but she's not a hunter. But late season,
Maybe.
I'll still try to shoot something. If it comes out, I'll put time in, but it's just not gonna.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be extensive. I'm not gonna have multiple days in a row. It'll be, maybe a morning and evening set once a week ish, maybe.
Yeah,
something like that. But so I'm still going to try. And again, if that buck walks out below the deck, I don't know. I'll put full draw and see how I feel.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we're pretty lucky the place that we live in that we're able to experience that migration that rolls through here.
yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Especially with this year in the snow.
Oh, yeah.
It was literally that snow hit. I went and checked the camera, I think 2 days after, or if it was a few days after, because I had to work a lot of overtime at work. It was a hard few days at work with battling the snow. But I think it was like 2 or 3 days after, I went down and checked. They pulled the chip on the camera, swapped them out, brought it home, put it in. And it was literally that night. Just deer after deer, bucks, everything just showed up. They knew what was coming.
Yep.
It just, the camera blew up with deer that I have not seen this all year.
Yep, for sure.
The migration is happening. So, I'm pretty excited for it. I can't wait. So I'm hoping we get maybe, it'd be great to get a super huge heavy snow, right? Early,
Yeah.
that early November again, and then it could stop.
Yeah,
That'd
that's
be great.
getting a little old now. I mean, we're sitting January. Yeah.
Yeah.
January 14th. We've had snow on the ground since November 6th, which is super rare for
And deep
us.
snow.
Yeah.
I mean, a foot plus.
Yeah, where we're
the
sitting
whole
at
time.
right now. I mean, we're only at what, maybe 1,000 feet elevation, if that. And I've been keeping track. We're at 52 inches cumulative snow is where we're sitting at here, and that's just crazy.
That's for where we're at. That's a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, typically we'll have a
maybe like 20-inch total throughout the whole winter,
Yeah.
and we're sitting in January already at 52.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's not how many we have on the how much we have on the ground right now, but that's how much we've gotten over since November 6th.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but then once late season rolls through, I'll probably try to set out a couple cat traps and see if I can get some bobcats. I haven't. With school and everything, there was just no way to have the time to go do it the last couple of years. So, yeah, I'm gonna try and get probably 3 to 5 sets out in some areas that won't take a ton of time to check, but can still go check them every day, and see if I can get a couple, because that is probably one of the most exciting things that I've ever done in the outdoor world, is walking up on a trap with a bobcat in it after spending so much time. I mean, the first one, it took me 2 months to catch my first one when I first started trapping, and then another month and a half after that to catch the second one. So it takes a lot of time, but it's worth it. It's all worth it to me.
Especially live trapping. I mean, seeing that, like the video you showed me, just of your bobcat, I'm like, that is freaking cool.
It's crazy.
I mean, that cat's looking at you like, oh, let me out. See what happens. I mean, that was cool. I mean, I am thoroughly excited to shadow you on that, just to see and film like what is it? I've never done it. Nothing even close to it, other than like a live trap for a pack rat, on the farm. So I'm really excited to shadow you on the trapping and see like that bobcat video was pretty epic.
Yeah, I shadowed quite a few people also when I was getting into it when I was younger. Just like texting everyone I know who's ever trapped and the big trappers in the area, and I even went out with a couple of them on theirs, just learning how to do things. And I mean, there's definitely a lot of techniques that you got to learn to do it right and be successful at it, which I know I'm definitely not all the way there yet, but it's fun. It's fun. It just takes a lot of time and costs a lot of money to do, especially when fur isn't worth what it used to be.
Oh yeah.
So, but that's not what it's about for me. It's just about being out there and doing something different that not a lot of people get to do.
I mean, I've worked in outdoor stores, hunting stores, fly shops, things like that, and maybe you don't hear a lot about trapping in a fly shop, but with that crowd, but you don't hear people doing it.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I working, but whether it was behind a gun desk, archery stuff, whatever, I don't remember ever hearing anyone around here come in and actually talking about trapping or pulling up, hey, look what I got.
Yeah.
No, that thing, it was maybe a coyote hunt or a bobcat hunt. Some guy blew apart with his .6, out checking cows.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are getting into spotlighting also for bobcats and coyotes, and people are being very successful at it. I spent some time doing it, also a couple years ago. And we saw a couple cats doing it, never got an opportunity to shoot one, but it's definitely a good way to do it, to get them. It's quicker than trying to trap all winter long. I mean, from November 1 to March 31st, I believe, is when the seasons are, unless they've changed it recently. But, I'd really like to get back into that and try to get a couple more of those, because, there's just nothing like it to me than walking up on that.
For sure. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it was fun because I was doing muskrat traps, I had beaver traps and coon traps, so I was pretty diverse with what I was checking all the time. So I was just making a big loop around the county. And
what was did you sell them? Your cat, not your bob. Did you
I didn't sell any of my bobcats. I kept them. They just meant too much to me right now. I probably would the rest of them, but that first year, those first two, yeah, it was just
Oh yeah.
they were worth so much to me, more than any money.
So outside of your bobcats, what was your favorite thing to trap for?
Man, and they're also different. Muskrats is pretty fun because you can be pretty successful at it, being pretty easy.
Well, I think also muskrats are things like the general public doesn't even think about.
Yeah, and
I
they're
mean, I think
super
I trap.
soft.
Oh, beaver. You know, I think that's what the general population's like. Oh, beaver. You know, I mean, that's what you'd think. You've probably seen a movie or something.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
what I just went around and was asking different ranches around the area that I knew had ponds or lakes, and got permission from a couple of them to go do it, and yeah, it was super fun. I just going out. And usually, I mean, wasn't
how many
always
do you think you
every
would catch?
day.
Like if you were to go out now, knowing what you know. I mean, obviously this is a hard, probably vague question, but how many do you, like muskrats do you think you could possibly get realistically in a year? 'Cause if you're looking like a whole season, maybe 2 bobcats, like what do you think you would get?
Well, I mean, I only had 2 traps out for bobcats.
Yep. Oh, okay.
So
yep.
I only had 2 out, so I caught 1 in each one.
Okay.
Just because where I was at financially at that age, I didn't have the money to go spend on a bunch of traps, and then have gas money to go spend.
Gas money now, especially.
Yeah. So.
I should say diesel money now, especially.
Yeah. So, I think you could probably, if you really spent a lot of time doing it, you could probably get 5 to 10 bobcats, I think, a year. But I mean, you'd have to spend a ton of time. You'd have to have a bunch of traps. For me, I think maybe 2 for just recreational doing it. Muskrats is hard because it kind of depends on the area and, you know, the size. Whenever I went to a ranch and asked for permission, I always asked a quota, like, what do you want me? Because you could probably almost trap out an entire, the size of ponds and lakes I was doing, I probably could have trapped almost all of them out.
So if they're there and you have a trap in a halfway decent spot, they're pretty apt to go investigate whatever you're putting in there.
Especially if there's huts around. They have little reed huts. If you put them near that, it was pretty constant. I was getting
You're going to bait them?
Yeah.
What are you baiting?
Apples.
If you mind sharing, but just apples? Okay, that's easy.
That was
sweet.
Super easy.
Yep.
Just put that up and... it worked. It would just go right into the trap.
You said, do you sell them on the round, or are you skinning them yourself?
Usually the person I was selling them to, they liked them whole.
Okay.
Yep. So I just brought it down because they didn't want the person messing it up
for sure.
to do it. So, but I mean, there's not that much money. I think for coons and muskrat, it was like maybe $10.
So you're looking for a bed full to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, it's not.
Take it to the.
You gotta be, you gotta be probably some other source of income to make it, to make it even worthwhile. But I'm sure there's people that can do it. You just gotta be at the right place and have the right amount of animals there to do it. And then a lot of people I asked would let me go trap coons and stuff. And I did some trapping on public land, but I had spent so much money on traps and everything, I didn't want to get them stolen or
walk
lost
away like
or
a
whatever.
trail camera.
Yeah, and so I usually tried to get access to private property to do it, and that doesn't mean you won't still get them stolen or whatever, damaged, but it was less likely.
Less traffic.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I really want to get back into that this next year, at least in some sort of, even if it's not doing all those things again. I didn't have the exact right traps to do the beaver trapping. Usually they have suitcase traps that they just open up and they walk up into them and it closes. I was just using my raccoon traps and putting them on their slides and stuff.
Okay.
And they were sliding into them. So
nice.
Which was pretty lucky. I haven't heard of anyone actually doing it before.
So I mean, and you can do that all in public too, no problem.
Yeah, I believe so.
So I mean, you could even just go down to the river.
Yeah.
Dang. Man, I wish we would have talked before. I could have got you probably a lot more beaver.
Probably.
Well, just because I do a lot of steelhead fishing, which is all winter long in the freezing cold, you know?
Yeah.
And so we'd see beavers all the time. One almost hit me with a tree.
Really?
Yeah, we were down south on the river a ways and sitting out there fishing. You start hearing the crack, and I cut all my own firewood, and
Yeah.
split, so I know what that sound. You start hearing that, and I'm just like, whoa! I'm looking around, a huge tree fell. I mean, it was. I started high stepping up the river. It was that close. I mean, it probably hit 20 yards from me. I mean, a full size. It was. I mean, a good. It had to be a 24-inch trunk almost on it. I mean, it was a decent tree. I was like, oh shit, start running.
Yeah.
And in waders, it looked really graceful.
Yeah.
Running up the red, and so I mean, yeah. Oh no, we'll talk some more.
I don't know if there's any.
You have to check on the rigs and all that.
Yeah, the rig, because I mean the trapping rigs are very specific. There's a lot of rules. It took me a lot of time just reading through them, making sure I was doing everything right. Because I don't want to lose my license over some small thing. You got to check them every 24 hours since they're live traps.
That's the once a day. That's
It's hard. It's hard. That's why you can't go have
so much time.
Big trap line that goes forever because you got to drive it every single day. So, it's definitely with trapping. Double check the regs and making sure doing it all right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's sweet. I'm very intrigued by it.
Yeah, it's a big learning curve making sure you're doing everything right. But just talking with people who've done it is a big help. And watching videos, I watch so many trapping videos. Just learn how to do it and. Yeah.
Tips and tricks and how they do their sets.
For sure, and definitely masking scent and everything is a big one. Making sure you're not touching your traps with just your bare hands and getting your scent all over everything. So.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's my 2023 outlook, and I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun year.
Oh yeah, I can't. Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm tired of winter. Although I want to do a little bit more ice fishing. Had a fun time. Went out today and it was good.
Yeah,
but I'm ready
you
for
got
it
some nice fish.
Like I said, pleasantly surprised at the fish we caught in this lake. I heard what they put into the lake, the strain of fish, and it's a lake that I fly fish regularly, but I haven't the last couple of years as much, obviously, because just having a young family. Obviously, now the kids are getting old enough to where they definitely are going with Dad.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they want to keep going with him and have a good time. But I'm looking forward to fly fishing this lake now. Pretty hard, just because they were big. I mean, so average size rainbows in there are, let's say, 12 inches. Today we hit rainbows probably 16 to 18, 19 inch. I mean, it was like a couple of them. It was my first fish was 18 inches through the ice.
That's crazy.
And I'm just like, where the hell did you come from?
Yeah, I've never caught one that big.
It's kind of like, you never, people tell you type of things. And I saw the documentation from the state for the stocking plan, and they said they were putting these fish in there. And so, but it's like, yep, legit, they did.
That's
These are
cool.
that strain of fish. They're not the normal stalker rainbows.
That'll be fun to fly fish this year, actually.
Oh yeah, I will go out. I'm pretty excited.
And it's quick to get there.
Oh yeah,
and
it's
everything.
right now. It's not far from our place,
Yeah.
from where we're at. So it's really close. So I'm pretty excited all around on the water and in the woods. So ready for it to get here.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for listening to our first pilot episode. If you'd like, go check out our YouTube, Hunt Trapping Horns Outdoors, and also our Instagram, Washington Hunt Trapping Horns. You can also find us on Facebook at Washington Hunt Trapping Horns as well. And that's it for this first episode. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun journey for this podcast.
All right. Sounds good. We'll catch you on the next one.
Yep.